And I don't think most women understand this, because you know what the biggest problem about being an average dude is?
What?
If you're an average dude and you work in KFC and you ain't shit and you get a chick, you know what the problem with that is? That means your chick fucks average dudes.
Bam.
So now everybody's competition.
Bam.
That motherfucker at McDonald's.
Why is everybody competition?
Because
But you would have to stay within
What
your
if she's
standards.
in love
Can
with you
agree
and you're in
that?
love with her?
Because why would someone go above their standards or less
tell you,
than if they
I'm gonna
don't
tell you.
deserve that?
I'm going to tell you, when you're a big G, you're hard to replace.
Of course.
Ah, these sweet plumes of vape caressing my face remind me of something else, and that, of course, is the gentle caress of a honey. Now, dude, you don't be a clown, don't be an idiot. That was a metaphor, and that metaphor is behind us. But that's sort of what a lot of this video is about. It's about the longing, it's about the need for a babe, the need for a honey. When we go out for a hunt to find ourselves a lady friend, we're not looking at that bottom shelf. We're not looking at these bottom shelf women. Now we're up to the middle shelf, but who needs it? Who needs this middle shelf? It's the top shelf that we need. It's those top shelf broads, those top shelf honeys that our heart cries out for. And here comes in Andrew Tate, and he points out the following. You're a piece of shit. Your girlfriend is a piece of shit, because the only reason she would find you interesting is because you're a piece of shit, and there's a lot of shit and she's interested in it. There's a lot of shit around. You're a nothing, she's a nothing, the whole thing is a big nothing. So how do you fix this? Well, you do so by giving Andrew Tate money. Because Andrew Tate, it's not as if he views his supporters and his base as potentially just average schmucks, average losers, average pieces of shit that aren't worth shit. No, he actually cares about their loneliness, you see. He cares about their loneliness, and he answers the call of their loneliness by, showing pictures of himself shirtless, and by showing himself with young ladies, and by showing himself on fancy planes and with sweet cars that he rented. All of these things are going on with Andrew Tate, and that's a whole universe. And the universe that rejects Andrew Tate is the Matrix, and the universe that has Andrew Tate at the center is the truth. It is the ultimate truth. So take your loneliness and be ready to just give it up.
I don't think most women can actually genuinely understand how lonely the majority of men are. Most men ain't shit. You know that. If you think about it, most men ain't shit. Go walk down the high street. Tell me how many of them stand a chance with you.
All right, another episode of BFF. We got a guest here, Andrew Tate. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on. You do a million different things. Reading the prep sheet, kickboxer, Mensa. You run an OnlyFans, like managing girls, right?
Managing girls sounds very sweet and innocent, like he has a band in South Korea that he's managing. In actuality, he's a pimp. He was a long-term webcam girl pimp, and now he's doing that again continuously. It's going on in Romania. It's traumatic enough already for these girls to be in Romania, but it turns out that Andrew is pimping them. His house was raided by the Romanian police on suspicion of human trafficking. These girls were taken out of there, and they decided not to come back. So whatever is going on over there, it's a little bit more than managing girls. It's more like pimping is what it is. It's fucking pimping.
Yeah, you're right. I do a million different things. It's eclectic. I understand that if you look from the outside and it's the first time trying to understand how it all works.
That's probably a perfect segue. If you were introducing yourself, how would you describe yourself? Like, what do you do? Who are you?
Yeah, elevator pitch.
Yes.
Elevator pitch?
Yeah.
Andrew Tate, 4-time kickboxing world champion. And I've conquered the internet. I decided to conquer it, and I took it, and it's all mine. So that's basically what happened.
That's pretty vague.
Andrew Tate, the top G, what do you expect? He did conquer the internet, and this is precisely why nobody has heard about this douchebag until he was banned off of TikTok.
So then, Josh, why don't you give his elevator pitch on why we needed him on?
Yeah, why'd you want him on so bad?
I mean, because he says things like, I fucking conquered the internet.
You said hundreds of millions of dollars you're worth.
Bro, I'm a humble man. You didn't know
You've never
that?
said your net worth. You've
They
never
didn't
said
put
it
this on the sheet.
What?
They didn't put this on the sheet. I'm super humble.
No, that wasn't on there. It wasn't.
I'm as humble as they come. I'm just a poor guy out here in Romania just with a whole bunch of cars.
All right, we're playing a game in life, and you're going to come up with some oxymoron. But
Yeah.
whoever has the most physical liquid money wins.
Yeah.
You have 1 year to accumulate it. How much do you think you'd be worth?
I think it's difficult. It is difficult. 300, 350.
Okay.
Easily.
So
That's fuck you money.
So Andrew Tate is presumably worth over $300 million. That's amazing, amazing. On the other hand, he still has that place in his heart for the OnlyFans business, because that's normally not what you expect from the lives of the ultra-rich, you know, to have a little OnlyFans on the side, to have a few webcam girls that you're managing. Normally, you really don't expect the ultra-rich to look around on the streets of Romania to find some girl with poor self-esteem, a teenager who you can recruit into some sweet webcam business. Normally that doesn't happen. It almost suggests that Andrew is lying about his wealth. One almost gets that idea.
You have to have a fuck you life. You can't just have fuck you money. I'm sitting out here in Romania inside of a house with 20 armed guards outside with a tower and AR-15s, and I've got 10 passports and 55 bank accounts, and like that's what you need to have fuck you money. You can't just sit in America.
Andrew Tate is really reviewing the age or age of mental development of the guys who follow him, because what he's describing is basically like a bat cave or something. 100 armed guards, weaponized ravens who are gonna peck your eyes out, vicious wolf dog hybrids who are gonna tear your face apart. I'm surrounded by the smoke. I have 100 ladies, OnlyFans ladies, each one holding a different passport for me in different crevices. I mean, it's just amazing which 12-year-old boy wouldn't want to live in this kind of an environment.
So people may look at me and say, why does he live in an obscure Eastern European country with his own private army? Why does he need so many citizenships, etc.? Because I can get on my private jet and disappear. And anyone with money who has not put that kind of plan in place, I don't think can really truly tell anyone to fuck off, because they will send someone to your house and they will drag you out in fucking handcuffs. Because I'm outside of the Matrix, Dave.
Where'd you make
I'm in Zion. Have you not seen the movie?
Yeah,
I'm
Matrix.
in Zion. I come in and out of the Matrix on the
But
never.
how'd you make your first million?
I had a company that had webcam girls talking to guys online.
It happens to be that Zion is the stage name for one of Andrew's webcam girls, and actually I don't even know if that's a joke or a truth for like, how would you possibly know it?
You're also known, you said it appears wildly sexist stuff. Are you anti-woman?
I love women. In fact, interesting statistic, 100% of the people I've ever had sex with were women. I love women. I have nothing against women at all. I'm not sexist in any regard. I'm not misogynist either. I'm a realist. Like, I'm a realistic person. As a realist, in the modern world, they're going to call you sexist, misogynist, etc. But I'm none of those things. I am just.
Why do they call you that? Why do they call you that?
Because
Yeah,
I
like,
say.
what do you think it is that you say that makes people think you're like sexist?
Because I say the truth.
Which is?
Women can't fight. Men are stronger. Like, more true things. I think another thing I said is and maybe I'll upset the ladies on the podcast. I hope not, but please correct me if I'm wrong.
Probably will.
I said if I were to get on a plane and that plane was to fly into the eye of a hurricane, there was a 50% chance of it crashing, I'd want a male pilot, because I think that males are better under stress and under pressure. I think they're less likely to get emotional in a life or death situation.
Now, speaking for myself, I personally prefer a pilot of either gender to not fly into the eye of the hurricane. Like, what the fuck is going on? Hurricanes are entirely avoidable. Once you have a shit pilot who's going into the eye of the hurricane, it's all pretty much lost. Like, what are we doing here? Are we on a research mission?
That's why they make better soldiers. That doesn't mean that doesn't make me misogynist. That doesn't make me sexist. That's just true. Women are better at other things than men. And I'll sit here and say women are better at X. But I will say that men are better at Y. I'm not going to sit and pretend that we're all the same. We're not. Under pressure, when your life is on the line, anyone who's honest would want a male pilot in said situation. You would not want a female pilot.
So I disagree with that. I think that's a person by person, but I agree with men are stronger than women. I don't think anyone can argue that.
If you're telling me if you were to fly into a hurricane and you had the choice between a male pilot and a female pilot, you wouldn't have zero preference at all, Dave.
Now, that seems to be exactly what Dave is saying. Maybe if you scream a little louder and you deep throat your cigar, Dave is going to change his opinion on the whole thing. Who knows?
Not
telling me you wouldn't give
not
a
knowing
shit.
anything about either of them. They're both pro pilots. No, I wouldn't. We're not talking about dunking a basketball.
Well, I would choose a man. Well, I would choose a man. Well, I would choose a man. Because I know from my own personal experiences that when shit hits the fan and emotions are high and it's life or death, that the man is more likely to remain calm. And calm is what's going to keep me alive.
Now, whether we want to or not, we have to agree with Top G on this one. We have to look reality on the face when it comes to ladies flying a plane and how dangerous it could be. There are a lot of things that can happen with a lady in such a stressful situation. So, for example, one thing that could happen is that she could look at the hurricane and her eyes could glaze over. Just kind of glaze over looking into the distance like an anime character. So this happens with women all the time. That's one of the risks. Another thing that could happen with a lady is she could start a fight. Start one of those fights. You know how ladies start fights out of nothing? Just to feel real. Just to feel real in these circumstances, she could say, look at your socks. What's going on there? Or who's walking out the dog today? So that's another thing that could happen. And finally, a lady could look at the hurricane and see an opportunity to catch a rare Pokemon. She might think that there's a Pokemon associated with the hurricane, and she'll take out her phone. And again, very unprofessional, very dangerous for the passengers and the crew. And, these are the things, those are the things that Top G is talking about, and we have to heed his advice.
So I would choose the man. For the same reason, I would choose women to do other things.
There are things that women undisputedly and traditionally have done better than men over the century. It's their traditional occupations. And I have some of them right here. One of them is eating grapefruits provocatively in front of babies. Babies don't understand what women are doing, but they're eating those grapefruits very provocatively. So that's a traditional female thing, something they've been doing forever. Women used to chase away ghosts of older judgmental women. So you know how sometimes you have older judgmental women, ghosts, and somebody needs to chase them away. And this is what women have done better than men traditionally, chasing away them with sticks and rocks and so on. And women have also been always very adept at throwing gerbils in the air to see what happens. Sometimes they catch them, sometimes they don't. And these are the traditional pursuit of women. And I think that Andrew would agree that these are things that they undisputably do better than men.
Let me give you another example then, Dave. If gender roles aren't real and you're now...
No, I think there are gender roles are real. That particular example, though, I'm sure you can have great female pilots.
I never said you couldn't. I said I'd choose a man in that particular situation.
Fair. I don't think that's like, I don't know about Brie and O'Malley. Like, that doesn't make
Yeah,
me be
Brie
like,
O'Malley,
this-
do you think that's like, do you call that like super sexist, or where you guys
Well,
land?
I think it's like with what Dave said too. I think it depends on the person. Like there could be a way more emotional pilot that's a male, and then a female one that could be more emotionally stronger.
So personally, I would prefer a pilot who's not an insane Romanian pimp who screams like he's about to rape somebody. A personal preference when I'm going toward the eye of the hurricane.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a generalization because exceptions don't disprove the rule. You're
But
right.
I don't think that makes you like Satan for saying that.
No,
I'm
but
sure
I
there's a
think
lot of
like you
people
say a
who
lot
feel
of
that.
stuff about women like that they're your property.
That's not what I said. I was talking about an OnlyFans company when question was asked. But I said that if a woman is going out with a man, she belongs to that man. That's his woman. So if she wants to do OnlyFans, she owes him some money because she's his. Yes, that's what I said.
Think
Well,
if
that's crazy.
You think if a
That
man,
one's crazy.
you think that a man going out with a girl that's just your property? There
not
there
about her
can't be
being-
an equal relationship?
That one was nuts.
Okay,
that one
cool.
was nuts.
I'm
This
nuts
is where
now.
it goes
Good.
crazy.
Cool.
No,
So
but
I'm-
no, that one you can. If I understood what you said, that if a guy and a girl is dating and a girl does OnlyFans, she owes him a cut.
No, 100%.
She's his girl.
100%.
She is his girl
But what does that have to do with anything?
because she's his.
Yeah, so that's
So that is you saying that women are your property.
It's not about being property. It's about the fact that she belongs to him And the intimate parts of her body belong to him because they're in a relationship. And if she wants to sell those, he has a stake in those intimate parts of her body.
Why is Top G, a supposed multimillionaire, keeps returning again and again to this one website, OnlyFans? It's almost like it's an obsession. It's almost like maybe the amount of money he has is exaggerated, and he still relies on women for money, and he has the typical pimp's psychopathic view of their body and who it belongs to. One almost gets that impression with Top G.
So it's reverse. A male porn star owes the woman.
I don't know, because I think the women belong to the man. I think the woman's given over
that's
to the man.
inherently where you get called sexist. You're saying a woman is the property of a man if they're dating.
I'm not saying they're a property. I'm saying they're given to the man and they belong to the man. It doesn't mean they're a pure property without emotion. It means they're given to the man. They take the man's name.
He's a legit world champion kickboxer who's a hard man.
So I was telling these guys.
Who doesn't buy any pussy bullshit. And that's what's resonating with young people. My 12-year-old and my 14-year-old asked me about Andrew Tate.
And
My
what'd you say?
14-year-old
What'd you
asked
say?
me, I said he's a legit world champion kickboxer. I go, I like him a lot. Why do you like him? And I was asking him. They said he says a lot of funny stuff on Twitter and TikTok. It's the TikTok thing.
My thing is with the left who wants to cancel him and, take him away. And they're like, we shouldn't look up to that. Okay, then who should we look up to?
Well, those parts are intimate, right? That's the whole point of her being his.
Yeah, but you didn't do reverse. When I said if a male porn star does it, he doesn't owe the girl a cut.
Correct, because he doesn't belong to her. She still belongs to him.
Correct. So that's the sexist part.
I have to admit, I am warming up to the whole idea with the OnlyFans. Like, I am warming up to it. Because there's a lot a man can do to really advance a lady's career. There is, of course, tidying up the studio, setting up the lights, setting up the cameras, doing some promotional work. All of these things a man does for an ungrateful OnlyFans starlet, if we can call her that. And so of course you need a cut.
And you've also said that you could have multiple partners, but a female that was with you couldn't also have multiple partners.
Well, a woman could say that same thing if she decided. She could say, I can sleep with multiple men, but my men can't sleep with multiple women if she so choose. We're all free individuals, right?
Yeah, but you wouldn't agree if a woman said that.
I don't think I would personally find that revolting. Correct. But there are women who find what I say revolting.
So you're not telling other people what to think. You're just saying how you think.
Yeah. I mean, if I think that if a man is not sexually exclusive, it's not the same as if a woman is, because with a woman, you have the paternity issue. With a man, you don't have a paternity issue. If I have 3 girlfriends and they all get pregnant, we know who the mother and who the father is. If you have 1 woman and 3 men, you don't know who even the parents are if she got pregnant. So it's a whole big issue, right? Science can step in and kind of fix it. But it's a good discussion.
DNA tests are pretty accessible nowadays.
Of course, yeah. That's exactly it. So I said science can step in and fix it, but that doesn't mean it's not haram and against the will of God. Look, read the Bible. Every single man had multiple wives. Not a single woman had multiple husbands. It's against the will of God. It's disgusting. In the eyes of God himself.
So imagine this. You're sitting in the closet, you're a kid, and you're playing a game, and in the game, everything is very ordered, very linear, everything makes sense. But there, outside of the closet, there's a messy world going on there. And what's going on there is your mother and father are arguing. You see, your dad is a porn star with a huge dick, just a humongous schlong. And your mother is arguing that these private parts actually belong to her. They belong to nobody else but her because they're dating. And you know in your heart of hearts that this would only apply if your mother was on OnlyFans and your dad would be making that argument. And so what's going on is clearly there's one clear word for it, and it's haram. Haram, haram. This is going on all over America. Women are claiming their husbands' private parts, etc., and we have a word for it, and that's haram. It's wrong.
Yeah. So what my point is, if we talk about tradition, I'm not even talking about myself here. This is not about my personal life. We're talking traditional. Traditionally, every single man in history had multiple wives, and there was not a single woman who was celebrated for having multiple husbands. Female promiscuity has always been disgusting and frowned upon. In every single book ever written, ever, in all of history, in all cultures ever, women were supposed to be virgins. Women sleeping with lots and lots and lots of men has never been celebrated, ever. Besides, in the last 40 years in the West, in a degrading society.
So I can't help but wonder if the Romanian girls that he keeps down in the basement, the webcam girls from whom he makes money, whether they have enough English comprehension to understand his talks about the morally degenerating West, because if they don't speak the language, if they don't understand what he's saying, then they're certainly missing out, because there is a lot of moral degeneracy going on, and they're gonna just stay clueless about it.
What about intelligence? Do you think women are as smart as men?
Well, it's been proven that the smartest people in the world are men.
See, that's
But-
I think where
That's been
women
proven.
is some issues.
That's
Proven how?
been
By
proven.
By
That's
who?
been proven.
How? What? Where?
So there's the bell curve, right? So men are more likely to be on the extremes. So the most stupid people on the planet are men, and the most intelligent people on the planet are men.
So if the dumbest people on the bell curve were men, and then the smartest people on the bell curve were men, and then women were more clustered around the middle, then the whole thing together wouldn't be a bell curve. It would be like 3 curves or something like that of human intelligence. It wouldn't be a bell curve, Top G. It just wouldn't be a bell curve. Oh, by the way, Dave Portnoy, the guy interviewing him, he's a huge creep. He's been accused by women of punching them during sex and filming them against consent. So, you can't throw a dead cat, as the expression goes, without hitting a creep.
Obsession with equality is a truly Western thing, and I don't think it's particularly healthy or important. I don't look at a woman thinking, is she my equal? Is she below me? Is she above me? I don't do that. I sit with a woman and we either enjoy each other's company or we don't. But I know my roles as a man. I believe that as a man, I should pay for the first date. I believe I should open the car door. I believe I should protect her, provide for her. I believe if she's my woman, she should be able to come to me with her problems and I should fix them. That makes me a sexist and a horrible person, fine. If I have authority over her, if I have responsibility over her, I apologize. If I have responsibility, which I have, I'm paying for things, I'm making sure she's safe, I'm driving her, I'm taking out the car, etc. If I have responsibility over her, then I must have a degree of authority. For the same reason, if I have responsibility over, and everyone's going to lose their mind, it's an example, it's only an analogy. If I have responsibility over a child, I have to have some authority. You cannot be responsible for something that doesn't listen to you. You can't be responsible for a dog if it doesn't obey you, or a child if it doesn't obey you, or a woman that doesn't obey you.
The super sexist path.
It's not sexist to say I'm
You
responsible
just said
for her.
if you compared a woman to a dog and a baby.
Yeah, and I knew that was going to be. That's why I said everyone's going to lose their mind. It's just
Maybe pick some better ones then if you want the women to listen to you.
Then I can't be responsible. Then cool. Let's take a beautiful sports car. It doesn't matter. A house,
Yeah,
land,
that didn't help.
whatever. It doesn't matter. Whatever I'm responsible for, I have to have a degree of authority over.
Now we have to establish the fact that when Andrew Tate was comparing women to dogs and cars, he was not being ironic at all. He was being very, very literal. And now you, my friend, can make of that what you will. Maybe you agree with that approach. Maybe that's your approach. Then you're one of Top G's posse or one of his boys. Maybe you don't agree with it, and I happen to not agree with it. I think that there are other ways to look at women, like household appliances, for example, like a toaster. But that's just me. That's my style. But anyway, we should not view ladies in this way. It really is a strange way, and it's confining. It's confining. It's a way where there is not a lot of space for love, I would say, within this view.
I don't think most women can actually genuinely understand how lonely the majority of men are.
Yeah.
I agree,
And
Sarah.
you need to truly understand, if you're Joe Schmo, average in nearly every way, in Starbucks working, you ain't getting a DM ever. Is that we have to understand we live in a world now. And we've always lived in a world where women have a natural inclination to align themselves with the top tier males. Most men ain't shit. You know that. If you think about it, most men ain't shit. Go walk down the high street. Tell me how many of them stand a chance with you. Usually fucking zero. Most men are desperately lonely. Desperately. So you want to sit here and talk about the struggles of life as a woman. There are men out here. The male suicide rate is so many times higher than women for a reason.
Of course.
The life as an average man is brutally depressing.
So the one thing I would ask of some dude who's looking for answers as far as like how to score with a lady from Jordan Peterson or from Andrew Tate, I would ask them, let's say you had a desire, you had a need to meet a male friend, like a platonic male friend, just to make a good male friend. You know, how long would that take you? Probably a long time, because it's difficult to meet people nowadays. But that loneliness when it comes to having a good bro, a good buddy, that loneliness is not so tender, it's not so needy, and it's not connected with sex, and therefore there isn't a huge market commodifying that loneliness and offering you hierarchies and different schemas to solve that loneliness of finding a buddy, finding a male friend. And so what we need to do is just get rid of these schemas and just go out into the world, go to a fucking church, to a synagogue, hang outside of the high school, hang out outside of the bathroom of a local mall, do the things that I do, cruise around high schools very slowly in your car and wink, and kind of holla, make yourself known, hand out vape products outside of high schools. There are a lot of things you can do to really get out in the world and just get rid of this toxic thinking that you get from Peterson, that you get from guys like Tate, because it doesn't fucking matter. People just meet at parties and they have sex. Of course people are fucking superficial, and that's that. You're superficial either. You probably don't want to make love to like 60+% of women you see. So why be so upset and so salty about the fact that you're in that 60 to 70 to 80% of a lady's preferences? It's all very silly. Just fucking forget about it. Don't fucking fixate on any of that shit. Just forget about it. Just live your life. Just enjoy your fucking life, even if it means being alone. It pays to believe in innocent sort of love, romantic love, because it makes you human in that process. It might be diluted and it might be stupid, but it makes you human. It makes you more human in the process, more connected to other human beings, as opposed to viewing ladies as toasters or horses or cars and so on. Let's not do it. Let's take another route.
Were you a natural fighter?
I was good at it right away.
Right away.
Yeah, I started when I was like 17. I've had 87 fights. A lot of fights.
Yeah.
Have you broken someone's bones?
Have I broken someone's bones? I've broken a bunch of bones.
How does that feel?
Great.
Yeah.
Fuck them.
Yeah.
No, seriously, like I'm being serious.
I don't give
the
a
first
fuck.
time you broke somebody's bones, were you like was it rad? Was it like a hunter when they kill a big moose?
No,
Were
you
you
know,
like,
no, you know what it
"Fuck
is.
yeah."
So there's a video of, you can actually find it if you go to YouTube and you look in my highlight reel. There's a video of me fighting in Macedonia in the World Championships. I was representing the USA and I fought a German fighter. If you type into to YouTube Andrew Tate highlights, it'll come up, and there's me against a German guy. And when I knocked him out badly, seeing him on the floor was, that's it, the top one. Seeing him on the floor, you'll scroll through, you see a guy in German shorts. Seeing him on the floor was kind of cool. But you know what was much cooler? Seeing the look on his wife's face.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Because I know she left him. Well, you just saw your man get beaten the fuck out of. Well,
Yeah.
you're going to suck his dick. No.
There we go.
Here we go. So watch in about 45 seconds from here. You'll see.